Hello, it's Silje, and today I would like to do something I haven't done on this channel before. As you can see in my surroundings, I love books. I mainly love to read them, but I also really enjoy buying books. So today I will have a book haul for you. And it's not that many books, but all of them has been inspired by other booktubers, and I will of course leave the links down below. But before I start with the haul, I would like to talk a little bit about the book I'm currently reading. I talked about this book last week as well, and it's this book. You will never get my hate by Antoine Léry. And today it's 1 year since the terrorist attack in Paris and the massacre in Bataclan. And I really wanted to read this book this weekend because of that. Because Antoine lost his wife at the massacre. And this book is a very short book, but it tells the story about him and his grieving and he being alone with his son, who is 2 years old or something like that. And it's very good. And it's a short book, and it takes place in a 2-week period after the attack. And it's so well written. It's something about his voice, I think, that touches me very hard. And I feel like every sentence is so impactful and so important. There are no sentences that are just there to fill out the story. They all matters. And as I said, it's beautifully written. It's powerful and important, and it's raw, and he really captures the grief and also the feeling of you have to keep on going. So yeah, I can't read this book very fast. I need to read it slow, and I read like a couple of pages at a time, and then I have to take a break. But it's so amazingly well written, and it's so important. So I hope that many readers will pick it up and start reading it. It deserves so many readers. So yeah, this book, amazing. So over to the books I've been buying the last 2 weeks. Some of them I have been ordering online, and 2 of them I bought yesterday when I was visiting Oslo, and I went to 2 wonderful bookshops in Oslo. So yeah, let's get started. The first book I heard about on Lauren's channel, Burnt Fiction, and she was doing a TBR for the non-fiction November. And this book really intrigued me. It's called Unmentionable by Therese O'Neill, and it's the Victorian Lady's Guide to Sex, Marriage and Manners. And it's supposed to be both hilarious and kind of provoking, and it tells about female lives in the 1800s. And yeah, and it's an gorgeous book. It's a naked hardcover. It's pink and it has a vintage photograph. The end papers are very pretty, and the chapters have some hilarious and kind of serious titles, like Getting Dressed, How to Properly Hide Your Shame, and Courtship, Not Talking Your Way into His Heart, The Wedding Night, or A Bad Bit of Bumbo, Being a Good Wife, How to Avoid His Eventual Resentment for as long as possible. It's hysterical, the least funny thing about Victorian life. So the titles are funny and a little bit absurd, but at the same time they tells us something about the way they were looking at women at that time, and that's not very funny at all. It also has pictures. Yeah, I think this will be a great read later this month. The other book is a classic, or a modern feminist classic, and it was written to be performed on stage, but it also been published as a book, and that's the Vagina Monologues by Eve Ensler. And I have, of course, heard about this book, but it wasn't until I saw Janelle's review at the page turner that really got me aware of this book, and she made me want to read this book immediately, so I had to order it. And this book is a celebration of female sexuality in all its complexity and mystery. It's hailed as the Bible for a new generation of women. It has been performed in cities and colleges throughout the world, and has inspired a dynamic grassroots movement, V-Day, to stop violence against women. And I believe this is a compilement of different women telling their stories about sexuality, and I think this will be an interesting read. The next two books are inspired by Adrian and Dalton at the Stripped Cover Lit, and the first book is this one, and it's Magic for Beginners by Kelly Link, and I have heard only good things about the whole collection, but I bought this because of the short story Stone Animal, or short, let me see, no, Stone Animals. And they did a review of this short story, I don't know, a month ago, and I really wanted to read the story before I saw the review. And it's available on Kindle, but I have an intense hate for Kindles. I can't read on Kindle at all. I found it to be so... It's not difficult, but I don't like it. I don't like the feeling. So I ordered the book. The other book is also inspired by Stripped Cover Lit, and that's another collection. It's a collection of poems by Charles Bukowski, The Pleasures of the Damned. And I have meant to read Bukowski for quite some time now, but I haven't known where to start. And then they did a review of a poem called The Lona a couple of weeks ago, and I really enjoyed that. So when I saw it in the bookshop yesterday, I knew I had to buy it. And I really like poems that are modern and written in free verse. And I think the poems of Bukowski is something I will really, really enjoy. So the last book is a book that I have to be honest, I don't know why I bought it. I was looking in the non-fiction shelves in the bookstore, and I don't know, it spoke to me in a way. And that's kind of weird because I am not familiar with this writer's writing. I have heard his name, and he is described as the world's greatest public intellectual, and I think he's very, very political maybe, and I have decided that this book will be my first book by this writer, so here we go. It's Noam Chomsky, Who Rules the World. And I'm not sure what's it about, but it says from the dark history of the US and Cuba to China's global rise, from torture memos to sanctions on Iran, Chomsky explores how America's talk of freedom and human rights is often at odds with its actions. It spoke to me. I want to read this book, and I'm pretty sure this will be mind-blowing. So here are the books. Hopefully I will be reading some of them this month and in December, and I know that some of them will be read next year. But I'm really looking forward to read every single one of them, and that's what's important. So this was my book haul. I have also 2 other books on the way, and they are also inspired by other booktubers, so maybe I will do one more in a couple of weeks. Thank you for watching, hope you enjoyed, and I see you next time. Ha det!